My name is Duncan White. I am a DGA Directors Guild of America First Assistant Director, Associate Director, and Stage Manager. A friend of mine once gave me a pair of socks that sums it up pretty well, which is ringmaster of the shit show, pardon my language. You're basically trying to herd a bunch of cats in the same direction that all have differing opinions on how things should be done to get a film or television show made. You're basically the right hand of the director in features, television as well, but because television is more of a producer's medium, you're also very involved with the producers and helping execute what their vision is for a television show. Your job is essentially to keep things moving on schedule and having the right elements in front of the camera when you need them in front of the camera to film the scenes or event. The roles of first assistant director, associate director, and stage manager are different within the DGA, with the first assistant director being more film and television, what they call the basic agreement for film and television. And then for associate director and stage manager, that's the film, live to tape, television agreement. And that's much more traditionally what you think of as a talk show or sports. The associate director sitting in the booth with the director, helping call in remote packages, calling down to commercial. And the stage manager is what it sounds like. You're on stage managing all the moving pieces in front of the cameras for the director. When I first went to college, I thought I was going to be a lawyer or a politician. So I went to a school. It was one of the few schools with a rhetoric major and also had an excellent political science department. Second year of college, I was dating someone who's a theater major. She talked me into coming and just auditioning for the play that she was auditioning for. In doing that, I had a great time. I essentially met my mentor from college, William Popel, who is a renowned performance artist, and really realized that creative world is what I wanted to do. My father had an advertising firm when I was growing up. So anytime I had an opportunity in school to make a video with my friends as opposed to writing a book report, that's what I would do, and I would use his cameras to make stop action animation. I was fortunate in college to have had an experience that kind of like shook me awake and made me realize this is what I really wanted to do. I was also fortunate enough in college that a friend of a friend was the unit production manager, line producer at a place called Concord Studios. Concord Studios was the low-budget film school of Roger Corman, the king of the B movies. So I was fortunate to have a contact out of the gate that set me up with an internship between my junior and senior year of college to work as a PA, and then he moved me around to all the different departments. So he put me for some time with the grips, with the electrics, with the art department, with transportation even. So I could see what all the different departments did and also have a better idea of what would I really want to do. And when I was on set, I realized the thing that seemed most appealing to me was to be a director of photography if I wasn't going to be a director, like on my journey to be a director, or a first assistant director, because when you go on set, they look like the ones that are really running the show. They're the ones that are doing everything. In reality, the director is the guy in charge. You're just helping to execute the director's vision. There's a position called first assistant camera. And when I started, they didn't have all the technology that they do now, where there's a rangefinder and it says, how far an actor is from the camera. Everybody that was a first AC was using the force, like how they knew what a distance was to where someone was standing, I couldn't do. So I realized that that was not the road for me. I wouldn't get through being a first AC. I'd get fired every single time I was pulling focus. So I worked up the first assistant director track, was fortunate that Marco Black, who was the person that gave me my start, and I would also consider a mentor, kept bringing me with him on various shows. When I graduated from college, I went directly back out to Los Angeles. Because I worked very hard during that internship, he gave me more opportunities. I guess that's one of the things that I would say is if you're lucky enough to get the opportunity to start in film, it's up to you to work as hard as you can and make the best impression that you can to get your next job, because a lot of it is all about getting the next job. In managing my career and going from one project to the next, I find that it's a great idea to stay in contact with everybody that you know. I had a big problem with the idea of networking when I first started. I just didn't want to be a schmoozer. Like, oh, that was just very unattractive to me. But when I had the mind shift of you'll work with a lot of people that you like and they're friends, and stay in touch with your friends. It's much easier to stay in contact with people, to do the networking, to let people know what job I'm on, which is almost as important as letting people know when you're then available. So you're not always contacting people when you're looking for work. In the course of working, you hear of other jobs, and then it's an opportunity for you to let someone else that you know that there's a work opportunity out there. That's what I find helpful in terms of networking and concentrating on one job while looking for the next. It's much easier now with texting and Facebook and social media to kind of put things out there to let people know what you're up to, without doing too much bragging, ideally, about it. That's been my experience and what's been most helpful for me. Highlights for me in my job and the kind of thing that keeps me going is the rush of pulling off the impossible. The last show that I just did, something like it has never been done before. Because it's not out yet, I can't really speak to what that is. But on our last day of shooting, we were prepping for all of our pickups, and I was with all of the EPs. And the person that brought me on, because we had done the Borat subsequent film together, asked me the question, which was one of the most flattering questions I had ever been asked. He asked me, Duncan, what is it like being the AD that pulls off the impossible? And that's the kind of thing that is exciting for me, whether it's a challenging setup, a large scene with lots of background and some action, like a big action sequence happening is exciting to pull off, or a very difficult emotional scene for the actors that you help create a safe space for them to do their best work. Those are the things that invigorate me and keep me going through the industry. Another thing is my brain has developed a remarkable ability to forget all the really hard and terrible things that happen, because I think anybody in this business would tell you if you focused on those things, you would leave. You would just stop doing it, because there are a lot of challenges working in film and television. My two biggest pieces of advice for someone that's looking to get into the industry is let everyone that you know that you're looking to get into the industry, because you never know who knows who and when an opportunity will come up. And I guess that's my second piece of advice. If you want to get into this industry and you're holding down one sort of job, you need to know if you are ready to jump from that job when the opportunity presents itself, and what the opportunity is that would be worth jumping off your pay the rent job while you're waiting to get into the industry, and just know what that is for you, I think would be my two biggest pieces of advice.